We're going to be talking a little bit about dealing with rejection, which is part of life, and I know most people watching have dealt with this in one form or another.
Absolutely.
But before we get into that, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. My name is Captain Iain. Yes, I'm a pilot. But most importantly, I'm using my gift and talents of motivational speaking that I realized back when I was in high school to give back to society. There's a difference between working and having a job. So when you have a job, which I'll talk about later, it's different from sometimes actually it's different from your gift and talent. So as much as I'm a pilot, I do a lot of motivational speaking.
And you said you've done this since you were in high school.
Yes, I did not motivational speaking,
but
I used to preach actually a lot in high school.
And
that's when I realized I had the gift.
And
then later, after going through some turmoils and ups and downs, that's when I realized I need to give back to society. I have learned one or two, three things. I have learned why young people are actually giving up in life and why they're getting lost. And I decided, you know what? Let me start talking to them as a young person. I like saying that I don't like taking the positions of pastors in church. I don't like taking the positions of teachers in school. Neither do I like taking the positions of parents in school. I like doing it as a young person to connect with them and to be a person of influence.
Wow. Well, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
I look forward to having this discussion with you. Have you ever dealt with rejection in your life?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Everybody has dealt with this. Tell you something. It was not an easy path for me to be a pilot. I used to think flying is for the elite few. I was wrong. But you see, society has made us believe that once you dream big, they tell you be realistic, which is wrong. So when I wanted to become a pilot, I faced rejection from the onset, from the very people around me. They told me, you cannot become a pilot. You don't have the money. What are you talking about? And even when I started, there are a lot of people who just told me, people who actually were my mentors, they told me, no, Iain, don't do it. Can you go to the university? What are you doing? It was the most painful and most hurtful time. And even after finishing my first license and there was no money at all, I remember I trained at Wilson Airport. I went from each and every company, from up and the corner of Wilson, the top part, all the way down, looking for jobs. And I'm told, no, we cannot take you. No, you have no experience. No, you're not good enough. It was hurtful joy. And you know, when you want something so badly and someone tells you, no, you're not good enough, it can depress you. And I'll be talking about that.
There's something that you brought up just now, and you said that, you know, when you're facing rejection, people were telling you to be realistic, and you don't agree with that. Why do you not think that that's a message that we should be preaching?
Society has a way to make us not achieve our purposes and dreams. I normally say everybody has a gift, and that gift is what makes you valuable. That gift is what makes you significant. Tell you something that people don't know. Today I've come here with a paradigm shift. You see, people think that we were born to get salaries, pay bills, marry, and die. That is wrong, Joey. That is not what we are here for. And that's why I say there's a difference between work and job. So you have to know that clear difference. So everybody has a gift of value. Now, people do not know that. People do not go and find out what their gifts really are. And without finding out what your gift is, that is why you have no destination. And if you have no destination, then you have no purpose in life. And if you have no purpose in life, there is no focus. You are prone to rejection because of the different fields you go through. Now, society has made us believe that being realistic is too big. Being realistic, you're just being a dreamer. Being realistic is the right thing. Correction. Being realistic is the normal thing. That's what society is making us see. Being normal is the way to go. Here's the thing. We are wrong. When they define smart and they put that are realistic, we think, oh my, yeah, we're using the gift of sight. We see where we are and you're like, there's something God has put in you, that gift, and it shows to you while you're very young. You see, I want to be an engineer. I want to be a president someday. But as you grow up, society tells you, be realistic. Or you start saying, oh yeah, you start using the gift of sight. The greatest gift we were given, Joy, is not the gift of sight. It's the gift of vision. Dreams that were placed inside us. Now, if you be realistic, you'll never achieve it. Where we are today, everybody watching the show today, where they are today, if they were told they're going to be there 5 years ago, probably they'll say, that's impossible. If 5 years ago I was told I was going to be here seated with you, talking, I'll say that's impossible. It's not realistic. But you see, once you get realistic, you can never achieve gifts and vision. We don't have gifts that are realistic.
Yeah.
The gifts we have, you cannot say they're realistic. They are great, and you have to go for them because we were put in the various fields in our lives for influence, for impact.
Yeah. Before we move on, I just want to pause for a second and talk to my director. I can hear him spelling out your name. Could you spell out the proper spelling of your name so we don't have it wrong on the screen?
No worries. My name is Iain, I-A-I-N.
I-A-I-N. You got that, director? All right, let's move along. Let's talk about how rejection comes into our lives in different forms. Because when you think about dealing with rejection, most people think romantic love. But it could be in all aspects. It could be friendships, it could be work promotions, or job applications that you didn't get. It can affect all aspects of our lives. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Now, like I said, I came with a paradigm shift. We have to think different. What are we doing these days? We are reactive. You get rejected, you get depressed, then you try and get your way out of it. We're not proactive. And today, I don't come preaching what to do when you get rejected. I come saying what you should do, because rejection will come.
Yeah.
And how do you get ready for it? What is to be rejected? To reject is to refuse to accept. So when they reject you, it means rather that they have refused to accept you. They have set you aside as a person of inferior quality. Now, let's look at the different levels, or types. So there's rejection at the parent or society level. You marry from a different tribe. Oh. You do a different course from the parents expected you to do. Oh. You get a child out of wedlock. You are chased away, you're rejected badly. Society and parent level. Some parents reject us and we don't even know why. I've seen parents who do not pay for the courses or school for their children for no reason at all. I've seen so many testimonies from all the places I've been to. Then there is rejection at the relationship level. Now, relationship has to be with friendship or has to do with obviously relationship, marriage relationships, and girlfriend, boyfriend kind of relationships. That is the next level. I'll talk about that. Then there is relationship at the job level, where you put in your CV, expect to get a job, you don't get it. You're told you're not good enough, you're of little worth.
Yeah.
Or you're in a job and they suck you. And then the last one is rejection as you pursue your dreams and goals. And like I said, those are two different things. Your dreams, your gifts and talents, and your job. Now, when you look at all these types of rejection, each and every one of them has one thing in common. It makes you feel inferior. It makes you feel depressed. Now, how do we deal with that? Number one, when you get rejected, it causes low self-esteem. And for those with low self-esteem, plunge into depression very quickly.
Yeah.
For those who actually felt good about themselves, get into low self-esteem, and if unchecked, again they plunge into depression. What is low self-esteem? Esteem is an estimation of your self-worth. So if you have low self-esteem, that means you estimate yourself to be of low value, which is very wrong. Like I said, you have a gift, and that's what makes you valuable. Now, what causes you to have low self-esteem? Lack of loving yourself. Do we like telling each other, I love you, and then you reply, I love you too? Actually, I think the reply to that should be, do you love you? After you tell me that, do you love you? It's important. We concentrate on interpersonal relationships and we forget intrapersonal relationship. Now, the most important relationship is intrapersonal. Do you love yourself? Do you know yourself? Now, we concentrate, do other people love us? We concentrate, or we try to impress other people. We try and win their love. We try and win their appreciation. We try and win their affection. And that, what happens? Remember, you forgot yourself. You don't love yourself. What happens if they don't? What happens if they don't give you the love back? What happens if they reject you? You get depressed because you don't love yourself. You should love yourself first. Have a connection with yourself so that when you go out there, you know, hey, I am a person of value. I am a person who has gifts and talents. Tell you something. There was this clip that was going around social media whereby this interviewer was doing an interview, and then there's so many guys coming in, and then he was telling them, write something on the board. Now, these people were so much into impressing the interviewer. I think they were doing an interview on programming. So everyone goes there, writes C++, writes something about programming, and this guy is not impressed. They're trying to impress him. They go there, they've forgotten the self-worth. They want to impress him, they're shivering. And everybody failed that part, except the last guy who walked in. I think people remember this. The guy walked in, had a weird hairstyle. He had not even worn official, and he came in, and this guy was like, hey, are you sure you're in the right place? And the guy said yes. So he'd say, take a pen, write something on the board. Now, this guy was not about impressing the interviewer. It was about being himself. He loved himself. He took the pen, he said something, and he wrote something. The interviewer said, now, this guy is listening. And that's another part. We don't listen. No, this guy was asked, where did you come dressed like this? He said, this is me. I'm not going to change myself because of some interview or anything. I'm not saying that people should go to interviews like that. But my focus, my emphasis is, do you know yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you appreciate yourself? Thereafter, that's when you learn to love others. That's when you learn to create a relationship with somebody else. But you're trying to please somebody else, yet you don't know who you are.
So a lot of times when people are rejected, one of the first reactions is like rage, like because you go into defensive mode and you're trying to protect yourself and your ego, and people just go into, you know what, I didn't even want that job anyway. You know what, you're not even good enough for me anyway. Why do you think that's our first reaction? Like, we don't stop to acknowledge what has happened. We just kind of fly into this awful personality.
Very, very true. We are defensive. Like I said, when we began, I said, we are what? We are reactive, not proactive. So we were not ready for it. So you want to show them, you know what, I'm better. Stay with it. You know, it didn't even matter. Truth be told, you're hurting inside. You're just trying to bring it out. It is not that really you did not want the job. You really wanted the job. But because you're like, let me just show him that. Let me show the world. Let me show society. Why? Remember, we're trying to please society. We're trying to please other people. Atafanya nini. This is, you know, it's not for me. You know, something like that. I'll tell you something, Joy. Somebody might ask themselves, okay, Iain, you're saying love yourself. How do I love myself, yet I am so miserable?
Right.
Now that is important, Joy. And all these are ways to be proactive to deal with rejection. Now, the most important questions we should be asking ourselves, Joy, is, number one, who am I? Now, everywhere I go, I ask people, tell me who you are without mentioning your name, without telling me what you do, without telling me you're a human being. Tell me who you are. And then they're like, oh, by the way.
It can be a bit difficult.
Yes, who are you? And then, you know, they start finding, and then at the end they realize they don't know who they are. People like identifying themselves with their names. Where in your body is it written, your Joy? Where in my body is it written, I'm Iain? It's only a name I was given, and by faith I believed I'm Iain. How many Ians are there? Many. So I cannot identify myself with just the name. I cannot identify myself that I'm a pilot. No. Who am I? We identify ourselves with our jobs. What happens when the jobs go? Depression. We identify ourselves with the things we do. What if they go? Because they're materialistic. Depression. That question, not many people can answer it, Joy. And then another important question. You can't know who you are if you don't know where you're from. So where are you from? Don't tell me I was born in Kakamega, I was born in Oloitoktok. No. Where are you from? Then, why are you here? I have met people, Joey, who've told me that they are biological mistakes. That they were told by their parents, we got you by mistakes. Imagine. Now, these people believe it. They're like, oh, I'm a mistake. I'm not supposed to be here. There was nothing for me here, really. Which is not true. We are not mistakes. We have to understand that God created us to be people of impact, people of influence, by personality, by how we are, how we speak. There is something of value. So if you understand, why am I here? Can you answer that question? And what am I capable of? And now, when society reminds you, be realistic, you forget to ask yourself these questions. Because who you are is not what you see. Who you are is not what you're doing right now. What you're capable of is still inside you. And what do we call it? Potential. A lot of people are told you have potential. What is potential? Potential, it is untapped energy, unreleased power, unused energy. That is what potential is. And people die without realizing their potential. Now, without using the potential, that's why you're prone to rejection.
Right.
Because you're trying things that are not you.
So for people who are more self-aware, and you're saying, you've talked about, understanding who you are and why you're here, and for people who have realized their purpose, I guess we're trying to borrow a leaf from them in how they handle rejection. How important is it to sort of, like I mentioned earlier, acknowledge what happened and also have that period of self-reflection and understanding why this happened? Because there's context in every situation. I think, taking a beat to just pause and think about it versus the rage that we just discussed. Perhaps you can talk about why it's important to acknowledge
I was
rejection.
to come to that. Great. Now, people think in pursuit of success, in pursuit of what you want, these are the only fields where you get rejection. Now, whether you're doing nothing about your life or you're pursuing success, you are prone to rejection. So you'd rather just pursue success, because whether you stay there, do nothing, or you go for success, you are prone to rejection. So how do you deal with it? That's a good question. Now, once you're rejected, there are a number of reasons why you're being rejected. One, they have not seen your potential yet. So once they reject you, don't say, oh, it was not for me. No, retreat. Get back to yourself. And that's what I say. Start knowing, really, why did they reject me? Can I diversify? Can I be better? Is there something I did not see in myself? Is there something I did not do right? Like right now, a lot of young people are going for interviews unprepared. You look at the papers, they're not sorted out correctly. They go to interviews, they're not even dressed right. Yet, dress code is one that impresses. You wonder why the unpreparation, and yet you want a job, then you get rejected. And you don't want to get back and listen, and just do some soul searching. Take 10 minutes and wonder, why was I rejected? Just sometimes we're rejected because we are yet to discover ourselves. Sometimes we're rejected because it was predestined for you to find another way to get to where you're supposed to be. Sometimes you get rejected as an eye-opener to be better. And that's what we don't understand. So we just want to get into rage. We do not want to retreat and look at ourselves. Number two, get a mentor. Every time, every field you get into, get a mentor. It is important to have someone to guide you. Like I said, now, society has a way of making you, pulling you back and telling you not to do what is right. Now, once you get a mentor who is already there, they will always give you that hope. They'll always give you that helping hand. Hey, you can do it, because they can see you have the zeal and the power for it. They can see you have that energy, that potential, and they can see you can use it. Now, get a mentor. It's important to identify a mentor for yourself before rushing to what you want to go for, because sometimes you can do it too fast. Sometimes you can be doing it very wrong. Lastly, you're trying to fit in. That's why you get rejected. So again, you have to realize, oh, I was trying to fit in. A mango tree can never produce oranges. If your gift was in preaching, let's say, or your gift was in engineering, and you are trying to pursue to be at a reception desk, it will not work. You're trying to fit in. You've listened to society. You're being realistic. You're trying to fit in, trying to be what you're not.
Yeah.
A mango cannot produce oranges, Joy.
There are people who their reaction to rejection is to distract themselves, particularly when you talk about like romantic relationships. This relationship didn't work, this person didn't want me, it hurts too much for you to deal with the pain, so you distract yourself. You go and find someone else. Just quickly, just kind of gloss over everything and say, you know what, I'm moving on. And that next relationship doesn't work out because you haven't taken that time, like you're saying, to retreat and understand what went wrong. So what are some of the dangers with sort of distracting yourself away from the problem?
Okay. Here's one thing we got to understand. So we say we have to be proactive. Now here you've gotten into a rejection. Now, let me talk a little bit, Joy, before I answer that question about relationships. If you do not discover yourself, if you do not love yourself, you'll never learn to love someone. And that's why we're getting a lot of failed relationships. If you don't love yourself, if you don't know who you are, you'll get the wrong person. And later is when you realize, oh, this won't work. It's a mistake we all make. Now, once you're there, you've been rejected, it's a failed relationship. Number one, it is good to take time to heal. It is good. Don't just distract yourself once. And the ways we distract ourselves is very wrong. You want to go to a club and drink the whole night as a distraction. You want to go do funny things out there in the name of distraction. Distraction can be dangerous if you're doing it the wrong way. Take time. If I pinch you, Joy, right now, it's painful, right? It will be very painful. But take time. You're like, hey, did I get do I need to put a dressing? No. You know, you have to take time. Okay, is it okay? Fantastic. Then move on. Then learn from it. So don't really distract yourself immediately. Take time and see. Okay, I've been rejected. What do I need to do about myself? It's not about them. Ask yourself, is there anything I need to change about myself? Is there something wrong with me? Do I know who I am? Do I know my direction in life? I like telling ladies a lot of times that if you do not know yourself, the best man, the guy you're looking for, really will not notice you. If you do not discover yourself and you don't have a goal in life. If you're there looking, you see, society has pressured ladies. Oh, by 30, you need to get married. Really? Really? No. We have different destinations. We have different things. We have different courses. So they get, you know, to 30, I have no child. I have not been married. And they start doing the wrong thing. They start looking for the man, which is wrong. Focus in your own sole purpose in life. And only you and you alone, you and your God, know your purpose. Go for it. And you'll find the right person. Now, in your mistakes, you've gotten into rejection. Learn from it and start building yourself from scratch. Do not distract yourself the wrong way. Distract yourself the right way. I like saying, fail successfully. You're failed, be successful in that field. Learn from it. So, distract yourself the right way. How can you distract yourself the right way? You have good friends. Go out there and laugh. Listen, there you have to get some time to cry. It is important to cry, men, women, both. Get some time, cry, but don't make it too long again. You get into depression. Then get out of a cocoon, get friends, go and laugh, go and do what you love best. There are things, co-curricular. I play basketball. So if I get stressed, if I get a rejection, because we always go through it, I just go play basketball and I feel nice. There's always something you'll do. Ladies, maybe you want to go to the salon, you want to go shopping. Nice ways of doing it. But don't distract yourself the wrong way. It will destroy your life.
And bring you more problems than you had originally.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about dealing with rejection. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can tweet me at Joey_Muthengi. Use the hashtag Power Breakfast. I'll be sampling some of your tweets. How true is it? How much truth do you hold to the saying that time heals all wounds? We've heard that time and time again, that, you know, just give it time. Eventually you'll get over it. Is that actually true?
Yes. It is true. Time heals. Now, once you take some time off, you've cried, and you're trying to make yourself happy. This is what we call maturity. You see, just like a human life, it grows from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. You've started off into relationships. You've started off into finding a job. You've started off into going for your career. You're still a baby in that sector. So once you get rejected, you learn from it. It takes time to build yourself. It takes time to make yourself better. It takes time to understand some things in life. And that's why people say experience is the best teacher. Time is important, but use it the right way. I get shocked when people say life is too short, so let's do funny things.
YOLO.
YOLO. You only live once, you know.
Right.
You wonder, really? Yeah. Life actually is enough for you to achieve what you came here to do. It is long enough for that. It is only short if you're doing the wrong things. You see, there is a period where you're supposed to discover yourself and make the right mistakes. What I say, failing successfully. Between 19 to 29 years of age. This period here is the time to discover yourself and make the right choices, and also make mistakes. Not making mistakes the wrong way of going to clubs and doing funny things and trying all kinds of drugs. No, making mistake means you venture into something, learn from it. You get rejected, learn. You do something else, learn. Discover yourself. Now, if you don't do it between 19 to 29, then you get to 35, you get to what we call midlife crisis. You never did what you're supposed to do right between 19 to 29.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
Right. And let's talk about learning from it. Because you've taken the time, you've taken a step back, you've understood perhaps where you went wrong or what you can do differently next time. What are the most important lessons that we can take from a case of being rejected? And we've talked about relationships, but also, you know, work, of friends, of just anywhere in life where you get to a point where you feel like you're less than. How do you learn from that, and how do you take that into the next situation?
Learning is important. How do you learn from him? Retreating. Always take some time back. Just get back. Think about really what you've done. Think about what you're pursuing. Don't listen to society. Don't listen to your friends who are just saying you cannot make it. Now, learning from it means what you did, do not repeat that mistake. Do not repeat what you felt you did wrong. I normally say, and it has been said before, a mistake done twice is a choice.
Only 2 times it takes?
Only 2 times. If you do a mistake and you repeat it, that's a choice. That's not a mistake. And we like saying, oh, we are humans. Oh, I'm going to make a mistake. No. If you do it the second time, it's a choice. And that's why you have to learn. You don't have to make 5 of the same, you're doing the same thing over and over. Really? No. Just one mistake makes you learn. And it's the important lesson. That's the experience now. And that's what I was saying. That stage in life of learning. You have to retreat. Learn from it. However, sometimes it can be difficult doing it yourself. That's why you run for your mentor. Your mentor cannot be someone you're the same stage with. You have to go for someone who is above you, who already has gone through what you're looking for, and let them help you learn. Let them help you identify where the problem was.
Another thing, once we've been rejected, is that we sort of like, you know, box ourselves into this small circle and we say, these are my options. This person has rejected me. I have no other options. How important is it to also explore other options and understand that, you know, expand your horizons a little bit, you know, because we're looking at just, you know, these are my 2 options for a job and I've gone to 2 interviews and both of them have said no. So I think it's also important to sort of like, you know, see outside of that space you're in when you've been rejected.
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing, Joy, especially in the job arena. Now, when you're looking for a job, you've been rejected, and the places you really wanted. We as young people have this tendency of saying, I have tried it, and I don't think it can work. Now, let me just do something else, which is wrong. There is nothing like this, what the only options. There is nothing like that. And by the way, in the job arena, I get shocked when people say, I did not find a job. I have no experience. No one will accept me. Really? I have seen, by the way, I'm one of them. Some people have gone into volunteering and people forget it. You see, we're so much focused on money and that's why we get rejected. By the way, these days you talk to people about money and they'll be like, what are you talking about? The number 1 step when it comes to job, leave those 2 options you had. You can't say those were the only options. Volunteer. Now, if you feel these are the only 2 options, volunteer for them. I'm telling you, they will not refuse you to job shadow or volunteer for them.
Right.
Or any other place, go volunteer. It gives you experience. And because once you volunteer and you do it honestly, you do it to the best of your ability, Joey, somebody will notice. Somebody will see the amount of energy you're putting in and they will help you all the way up. And those places you're looking for. You see, if you feel, you see, when you have a gift and you have this push that you want to be something, it is difficult. No one or nothing inside you will ever tell you this is the place. No, that is wrong. It will tell you something inside you. That vision God has placed inside you will tell you this is what you're supposed to do. It doesn't tell you this is the exact place. But you have to start from the bottom. I used to be an errand boy of a certain company because I wanted to be a pilot. It crushed me sometimes. I used to feel I have to be, you know, I want to be better.
Yeah.
I wanted Kenya Airways that time. And I'm in this company being an errand boy trying to be a pilot. But you see, where I am today, I appreciate what I did that time. Right now, I don't think I have the zeal. If Kenya Airways someday called me and said they want me, all right. But I don't, right now I'm like, really, actually I'm happy where I am right now. You realize later, the decisions you make slowly, step by step, volunteering and doing things that you thought you will never do the right way, you will notice they will take you.
Well, see, I think a big problem is that we lock in this narrative in our minds of this is how things are supposed to go. I'm supposed to graduate, I'm supposed to get this job, or I'm supposed to meet this person, fall in love, have children. You know, and when things don't work out exactly that way, as life happens, we sort of get stuck and don't know where's the next move because I had this entire story in my head. Where do I go from here? The story's changed and we're not so quick to adapt.
Great. Thank you for that, Joy. I'm one of those people who I thought I had it all. And when I cleared high school, I thought, oh, things will just go, you know, smoothly and nicely. And whoa, I was shocked that really life can hit you hard. Number 1, brace for impact. Brace for impact.
Yeah.
Failure is coming. Rejection is coming, and they're the best teachers. Brace for impact. You got to be strong. Now, let me tell you something. You've choked while you've eaten. That did not stop you from eating. You've fallen numerously. That did not stop you from walking. You've crashed in your car, in your matatu, a number of times or once. But that did not stop you from using the matatu or going into vehicles and traveling in them. Mm-hmm. So how come you get rejected or life is not as per you thought? Why do you want to give up? Now, somebody might want to say, it's not the same. Oh, it is the same. The risks in life at every stage are the same, and they can be gross, all of them. But we do that. You have to push yourself. You're traveling to Mombasa, at Emali, you get a puncture. You don't turn back. You change the tire and continue.
Yeah.
You get to Mtituande, you get a fender bender. Will you turn back? No. You get to Voi, the engine, starts smoking, and the car goes off. Will you really turn back to Nairobi?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you'll finish the journey. You'll have your eyes still locked on the place you want to go or you want to be.
Another danger that we're susceptible to, I think, as human beings is that if one thing goes wrong, we feel like everything has collapsed. If there's one quality that your interviewer didn't like about you, you feel like you're worthless and your degrees don't matter. And you sort of, generalize that to all aspects of your life. How can we avoid doing that?
First, yes. All our achievements in life really do not matter much. I know people will be like, whoa, what do you mean? Yes, they don't matter much. Your future is inside you. It is not ahead of you. It is not around you. It is inside you. Opportunities are inside you. Like I said, if you don't use your potential, no one will see it. Now, so many people get crushed. Oh, now I think I've tried this. I don't think everything else will work, so let me leave it. Why? There is lack of self-discovery. You don't know your destination, so you can move anywhere. You have no purpose. You have no goal. When you have a dream, when you have a vision and you lock on it, Joey, you will do anything for it. And I mean anything, but it is good to do the right thing. Now, once you've gotten your degree, you probably maybe you didn't get a job and you knew society wants me to do this, and somewhere everything felt like it was cut, and you're seeing there's a big trench there, and you don't know how to cross to the other side. Mm-hmm. That does not mean you stop finding ways. It is painful. You see, Joy, it's painful. It hurts. Mm-hmm. But it's time for you to wake up and realize that you're meant for something great, and it's where you're looking. Focus on it. Focus on it.
Yeah.
If someone gives you money and tells you, eat a stone, says, I like giving that example. They tell you, here's 1 million shillings, swallow this stone. I'm telling you, they will.
They'll find a way.
They will find a way. Same thing. Find a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we wind up here, perhaps you can just talk about the importance of also, reminding yourself the better qualities about yourself, because dealing with rejection, all of that kind of fades away, and you just focus on this person didn't like me for this reason, but that you still have your positive qualities, and you still have things about you that someone else might find worthy of their time.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Once you discover yourself, you know what you're worth. And let me tell you, you'll be walking doing this. Even though you don't have a job, I'm worth something.
Yeah.
You will know I'm not going to end up with the wrong crowd, and I will do the right thing because I know I have potential. I'll start using it and someone will notice. You don't stop walking up. Let me use the story of Joseph in the Bible, please. Joseph, at 17 years old, he dreamt that the chiefs of the brothers bowed down to his chief, and the brothers told him, no, these are the brothers. You expect when you have a dream, your brothers, your family to support you. No, they will not. They'll reject you. Again, he dreamt the stars were bowing and the moon were bowing down to him. No, they were not happy. They decided to kill him. Luckily, one of the brothers said, no, we will not kill him. Look at Joseph at this point. When your brothers are telling you, you're not going to make it, the guy stood strong still. He was thrown into a well and he stayed there. And he was there strong. He was sold into Egypt as a prisoner, as a slave. He still was strong. He knew there is something for me, and as much as I'm being rejected, I am going to make it. Again, he goes to Potiphar's place. The wife wants to sleep with him. He says no. And the wife says, oh no, he tried to rape me. What happens? He's thrown into prison. I mean, if you get there, even if I was him, I think you want to give up at that point. Mm-hmm. But he stood strong. He had a vision. And then in the cells, he discovered he could interpret dreams, and he interpreted dreams. And at the end, when he interpreted the dream of the king, he became governor of Egypt. All the rejections will prepare you for the end game. All the failures are the best teachers because they're preparing you for something big. The bigger the rejection, the bigger the failure, the bigger the fall, the greater the person you are potentially going to become. Potentially, if you don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And Joy, let me say this. You have been shown what you're going to be by God. God finishes everything. He takes that mission and puts it inside a man at the beginning. He knows the end at the beginning. He has chosen you for something great. You're the one to discover it. The rejections and failures are there to actually remove, or not remove, rather to manifest that great thing inside you.
Yeah.
Listen to him.
Captain Iain, thank you so much for being here on Inspiration Monday. The